when you think about what we were talking about earlier regarding Bernie and AOC and how they are trying to sheep herd people back into the Democratic Party, do not underestimate what it means to have affluent Jewish Zionists in positions of power in both parties, meaning that you can't escape the reality. For those of you who know who Mr. Rattner is, he was a prominent figure in the Obama administration. And he wants to conflate social leftism with economic leftism. Not a mistake, but here's what he said.
Not been able to convince people that Trump is bad for them. I think everything Sanders and AOC are saying is fine, but then you get to the policies. Do we really want to go back to Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, defund the police?
The idea...
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah, the idea that you want to conflate, now he's not done, but you're saying, do we really want to go back to universal health care, Green New Deal?
Back to it.
And, it's this whole, remember, words have meaning. And when you say we want to defund the police, no, what you really should be saying is we want to end the police state, because that's what we have. We have a police state. We do not have.
Well, I'm an abolitionist at this point, but what? I am so done with all this crap. But the fact that he's saying, are we going to go back to those things? When did we have those things?
To even make it as part of it. And could you look more like a stereotype, the type of person that would spew this? And he's not done. He's got more to say.
Women playing men's sports, potentially. Do we really want? That's where I think ultimately we lost, because.
Yes, that's the problem. That's the problem, is that women, there's a women's NBA now. That's it right there. There's women playing men's sport. Are you this?
Well, how do you conflate the two is the question.
I'm with Joe. I'm with Joe.
Yeah, Morning Joe is still a thing. And these are the types of affluent, probably Zionist type of people that they bring onto their show to talk about why we can't have progressive populist policy in the United States.
It's all because women want to play men's sports. That's the whole problem, people. That's it right there. If we just stop that.
By conflating the two things together, you're trying to render the argument that single-payer healthcare is a winning issue by suggesting that men playing women's sports isn't a winning issue, which it isn't, but they're not the same thing. So it is deliberate.
I'm incensed that this is even a topic of discussion when the world is falling apart. Yes,
but that's what somebody like Rattner's going to say. That's what somebody that is as rich and powerful as him is going to say, because he doesn't want single-payer health care. He probably is heavily invested in stocks that are invested in the pro-health system.
So are the people that watch Morning Joe. So continue.
Those people who make less than $50,000 a year couldn't relate to the far left policies. The rhetoric is great about Donald Trump, but then you get to the policies, and Alyssa Slotkin is speaking, I think, more the reality of what we have to do as a party.
Yes, get back to Reagan. That's what Alyssa Slotkin suggested. Alyssa Slotkin suggested that the Democratic Party needs to get back to the philosophy of Reagan. That's what she said. So that's what he's saying. Okay.
So this is the type of commentary that we get from Rumble. Wow, Medicrap for all? Okay, you have never worked for the government. You clearly do not understand what a single-payer system is and how it is government-funded, not government-run. But continue to suggest that you understand.
Why are you engaging with that? That's what you would say to me.
No, I engage with this one person because they're the only person dumb enough to make such a statement, because everybody else understands what single-payer healthcare is. So
well, on our channel, but this could be a new person. Maybe you should just be nice and say, no, this is how it's done. Maybe
I would, no, when you come on and make a statement like that.
I know.
Sorry, I'm not going to be nice about it.
At the same time, though, if, by the way you do this is, like, somebody brings up men who transition and somebody brings that up, and you go, no, I don't.
Can't play women's sports.
I don't support that. Can't do it.
Sorry.
Talk about people border. No, we need to keep our border child. That and everything they do, you just toss it aside, toss it aside, toss it aside. I know people hate when I talk about when I actually was in politics. I guess you'd rather me talk about when I was a high school football coach. It's not relevant here. You toss that aside and then go, listen, they're going to try to distract you with this stuff, okay? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with us being the party of acceptance. We're not going to be the party of advocacy. We're going to leave that to families. We're going to leave that to friends. We're going to leave that to doctors. We're going to leave that to you all. But we're focused on making sure that the greatest transfer of income in the history of mankind, from middle-class Americans in the 1980s and 90s, over the last 30 or 40 years, to the richest billionaires and multi-corporations on earth, that's what we're focusing on, and we're not going to let them extend tax cuts to the richest billionaires on the face of the earth who are running monopolies that are changing your family's lives, costing your jobs, melting your children's brains down. We're not going to let them give them a bigger break. We're going to give you a tax cut so you can afford to pay your rent, so you can afford to send your kids to school, so you can afford to have the dignity that they've taken from you. God, how could Democrats lose with that message?
They need to.
Mr. Scarborough, you were a Gingrich Republican who was a part of the 94 wave along with Bill Clinton that did NAFTA, normal trade relations with China, the crime bill, the Telecom Act, and you did partake in the repeal of Glass-Steagall. You have as much blood on your hands as anybody. You want to wax poetic about where this country is? You did it to us. Gleefully, I might add.
I find that so ridiculous that he just went on a rant like that. Like he actually gives somewhat of a shit about working class people. What's interesting is I don't recall him suggesting the Democrats fight for any of those things when they were in power. Now, I don't watch that show, mind you, because I don't watch trash. But I've never seen anything coming off of MSNBC that would support single payer healthcare. So why would you say that now? Now you say it because you know that it can't happen. So it's like, get the hell out of here with that.
And it's very easy.
He's ridiculous. He is. I can't look at them without thinking of Don't Look Up anymore.
We'll finish this out.
Take back the economic progressive argument. That is winning messaging. They need to lose the cultural war. Progressivism, it's not part of the conversation right now.
Yeah.
They need to stick to what the majority of Americans relate to. And right now, it is that Donald Trump and his cronies are getting rich and hijacking the rule of law, and everyone else is suffering.
Okay,
But they didn't care when the Democrats were doing it. Did she complain about Nancy Pelosi getting rich?
What about Wasserman Schultz? What about the Biden family? People were doing it in full view. You never said anything, ever.
But Trump and his friends are getting rich. You mean his friends like, the Clintons? Because they're friends.
They think because Trump does it in full view of everybody that somehow makes it worse. No, in reality, it makes it better. Because now you really get to see what these people are up to, what they've always been up to. And that's why they hate them.
Oh, my God.
They hate them because Trump really doesn't fucking care. When Trump is done in 3.5 years, he's not going to care. He has his legacy. He'll, live on the golf course until he eventually dies from cholesterol poisoning from eating McDonald's every day. My guess is that's what it'll be. But this is the world we live in, where these elitists that live in this bubble want to continue this ridiculous message. And that's why Rattner in particular is a rat for saying what he said.